What up, bitches? And welcome to the 10th episode of the FBG podcast. Woohoo! 10 episodes. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And if you're watching on YouTube, we have something. Look at that! And I'm also your poster. My beautiful best friend Chloe gave this to me. If you're listening, it is what's it called? A number plate that says FBGs and it's hot pink. Like, what the fuck? This is so beautiful. I'm getting a little poster. Getting some merch. Oh, hell yeah. So, I have finally finished uni. Whoa! Need one of those like little applause signs. As we all know, that was like the most difficult thing I have gone through in a while. Especially if you watched the previous episode 9, how I talked all about the lows of being a law student that lives by themselves. Because while I'm incredibly grateful and thankful and I wouldn't give this up for the world, there are definitely some hard times. And it can be really difficult navigating that alone. But we're all done with uni now, and I'm so happy. I don't go back until the 21st of July, so I have a big break. I've been off for about a week now, and guess what I've done? Lay in bed on TikTok and sleep. I have a lot of things that I want to accomplish over this sem break, like a lot of things. It's a little bit stressful, and I wanted to get underway with it, but I haven't been able to do anything, and I am not mad about it. Like, I'm not feeling guilty. I just need to lay in bed and rest and do all of that for as long as I need to before I get right back into it. And then we have one semester left. Oh, I'm so happy. I was getting pretty emotional about a month and a half ago before uni got really bad and before I had to stop doing this every week because I was going insane with uni. I'd be walking around campus and I'd look around and I'd think, like, I can't believe I'm not going to be here for much longer. And I just get a little bit emotional, just realizing. And then uni hit me like a goddamn truck, and now I'm like, get me the fuck out of here. I'm not gonna miss it at all. Just like I don't miss high school. High school is one of the worst experiences of my life, and I'm gonna do an episode on that very, very soon, maybe next week, about my diabolical high school experience. Same thing with uni. Uni's great and all, but I'm not gonna miss the mental and the physical toll that it's taken on me. I feel like I've aged like 20 years from doing it, so I'm very excited to be in my last semester and to go out into the big wide world. Although I am very nervous about that too, because I don't have the comfort of a grad role, and that's why I have a lot of things that I want to accomplish. Anyways, I'm yapping. Today, I wanted to tell you guys about one of my most insane love stories. And you know the saying, they always come back? Yeah, well, that's kind of like the vibe, the theme, the conclusion. Oh, I need to stop. I need to add like an adjective count for you know what I'm talking about. So I want to tell you guys about one of my most insane love stories, and it's pretty it's I don't know if it's wild, but it's interesting to say the least. So let's get comfy and let's get into it. So I had just turned 14. It was 1 month after I turned 14, and I was scrolling on Facebook, as you did back in 2017, and I saw this man, and we'll call him Barry, because that's what me and my best friend called him when we first needed a code name. And I saw this guy called Barry in my friend's suggestions, and I was like, this is the finest man I have ever laid my eyes on. And you know how I slid in? I slid in, actually. I sent him a sticker, and then I said, oh shit, that was an accident. Anyways, what are you doing? And then he replied, and we started talking. Gotta be careful with how I tell this story, because there's a few things that I can't share, or I don't want to share. So we started talking, but he lived not very close to me, so I had to take like a 20-minute bus to go into his area to see him. So I remember when the first time we hung out, I brought 2 of my friends, and he brought a few of his friends. By the way, he was 16, so 2 years older than me, and he brought a bunch of his friends, and we hung out at Macca's. And we like did not talk to each other. As one of those like really weird, awkward ones. But the second time we got together, it was at night time, so I told my parents that I was staying at Chloe's house. When I went over to Barry's house, and we like kissed, as you do as a 14-year-old, and we like had cuddles in bed and stuff. And that was like my first experience of like intimacy, I guess. and like physical touch because I had just turned 14. And so safe to say I fell in love with this man, unfortunately. I had never heard of him until I saw him on Facebook, but somehow we ended up becoming like into the same friend group. A lot of the stories that I told in my small town shenanigans episode, that he was like there a lot for a lot of it. So our friend groups ended up kind of colliding, and we'd see each other at the house parties that I would tell you guys about every weekend, and we would like hook up. I guess that's the best way to say it. Pretty much every weekend at these parties, but he would never want anyone to know about it, and he was like real embarrassed of me, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I would go to these parties every weekend with the hope just to see him and to be in his presence because I was so, I don't necessarily want to say in love, but I was like head over heels for this man. I thought he was so fine. He was my first like introduction to like, touching and kissing and all that stuff. So I had that kind of pull attraction, I guess. And yeah, that was just the vibe. Monday through Friday, I'd be at school, be thinking about him, be refreshing Facebook to see if he posted a new status. Like, I feel old because that was actually my vibe. But he was also like really mean to me as well. One of those ones, like just like all the boys in the group just weren't very nice, and he was no exception. So yeah, every weekend, yeah, we'd be going to these house parties, and he'd like sneak me like around the back of the house or down the road, and then he'd just ignore me like 24/7 after that. And it was really, really difficult, and it was really hard because I really liked this man, and he'd do that to me every single weekend, and I'd just keep going back thinking it was the greatest thing in the world. Obviously, I'd still be upset and I wouldn't really like it, but to me, it was everything. Even if I got like a second of his attention, I'd be thinking about it for like the next 2 weeks. But he would like get with other people as well in front of me, and oh, it would make me so sad. So friggin' sad. But I just kept going back over and over and over again. And it got to the point, this was going on for like ages. And then it got to the point where my friend Lily said to me, because we were talking about the weekend, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to get with Barry. And she goes, why are you setting yourself up every week for a sad Sunday? Because that's exactly what he does to you. And I was like, you know what? Bet you're right, actually. I'm going to stop this. And then I finally did, which was fantastic. He ended up having like a going away party because he was moving to Aussie. That lasted like a week, but that's not really the point. But after that, we just kind of fizzled away into nothingness. However, okay, are you guys ready? Got the iPad. If you're listening, I had this massive thing on my iPad. Okay, so while I was absolutely down bad over this man, I wrote out like this massive thing about how I felt. And before I was going to move to Auckland, I was going to send this to him. Unfortunately, I was in a, not unfortunately, well, actually, yes, unfortunately, but for other reasons. But I was in a relationship with someone that he knew, Julian. They were like best friends, which kind of sucks. But I always wanted to tell him how much he meant to me because he was like a massive part of my life. But I found this message that I wrote when I was 14, maybe 15. This would have been like 7 years ago. And I sent it to him last year. Okay, let's do this thing. Some of it's going to be like recapping what I just told you guys, and some of it's going to be new information, but let's just get straight into it. Okay. One lonely day, I was scrolling through Facebook. My scrolling stopped at my friend's suggestions, and I saw you. I clicked onto your profile and sent you a friend request. Little did I know that that friend request would spark so much love in me, and so much hate, and so much sadness. I remember the first time I was with you. I lied to my parents to sneak over to your house. I ran through someone's property and jumped the fence into your backyard. We slept next to each other on your mattress in your sleep out. My eyes were closed as I felt your hand touch my body. You didn't talk to me for weeks afterwards. I was young and vulnerable and liked you so much. Months passed and we didn't speak, and I eventually got over you. You and I sat with a couple of friends at a school late at night. We had all snuck out. We looked at each other momentarily before sneaking off around the corner. It happened again. The next weekend, it happened again. The next weekend, it happened again. And the weekend after that, again. I thought we had something, but the next weekend you laid your eyes on someone else that wasn't me. We stopped for a while. I felt empty and lonely and longing for you, but I knew you'd never feel the same way. Time had passed and we hadn't seen each other in a while until we both made our way to a friend's house. It was the first time I realized I loved you. We sat on the couch in our friend's upstairs room. You sat on the right side. I made my way to the middle and our friend on the left. We stretched out our legs onto the small table in front of our feet. I rested my legs against yours. The butterflies in my stomach awakened and flew. The flowers in my lungs bloomed and I could feel electricity burning in the air. Our friend left the room and I sat there watching you play a basketball game on the PS4. You put your hand on my thigh and everything stopped. I felt like I was at home. I felt in love. This made me so confused, but I had to keep all my emotion in. I never told you how I felt. I never told you that I loved you. The next time we were together, we were drunk. You blamed your attraction for me on the alcohol. Not long after that, the same thing happened. It happened again and again. I was still confused and filled with love with nowhere to put it. One night you messaged me and told me you liked me. I screamed and I cried so much. It had been over a year since the first time we were together. The hope I had for so long felt of use. But no, nothing ever came out of us. You telling me that didn't matter, or did it? I will never know. I messaged you a week after you said that and asked what you wanted. You said to get over it because it's not worth it, and so I did. The weekend after you said that, us and a few others were at your house for a couple drinks. Seeing you was hard, but I knew I needed to get over you again. You left us and went inside and messaged me telling me to come to your room. I hate you so much. I sat on the end of your bed, tipsy, and the butterflies in my stomach fluttered. You asked for a hug and I laid on top of you. I felt the same feeling as I did when I realized I loved you. You held on to me so tight. You always wanted to keep us a secret and not let anyone know. You told me to leave your room before anyone notices. You wanted me to come back, but my friend didn't think it was a good idea. I snuck out of your house and snuck back through your window. You stood over me. You were always a lot taller than me. I told you I couldn't get with you and you climbed back into your bed. I lay next to you and you told me to get under the sheets. We didn't have to do anything, just lay with me. I turned my head to look at you. I told you that I liked you a lot and you grabbed me and kissed me. The next day you blamed it on the alcohol. Each time you kissed me, another wound opened and now you are gone. Thoughts of you have clouded my head and now I'm left with headaches. I found out you were moving to a different country. A month after that was the last time we got together. I didn't know you were stoned and you were using me for your own pleasures again. And that was it. I walked away towards home on the other side of the park. You walked yours in the destination of drugs and other girls. Tears breached the surface of my skin and my chest heavy. You used me again, fucking again. I knew this, but why did I let you? Why do I love you so much? And why, when I touch your skin, sparks are flying throughout the air as our bodies correspond and melt into each other, and for a split second, I feel as if all the love I have awaiting arrival is of use, but it's not. The electricity burns out and I'm left alone. I'm a fucking brilliant bright spark and you put me out. You had a leaving party and didn't invite me. I came anyways. Halfway through the party, I left and cried. I cried so much while you were with other girls. I made my way back to the party and tried to forget about everything. I drank too much. I saw you later on and gave you a hug. The party was over and I didn't see you to say goodbye. I don't know if I'll ever see you again, or talk to you, or hug you ever again. I have so much to say to you, but I've never been able to. I hope you know that I was always there, always fucking there. The countless times you left me hurt, damaged, broken, bruised, naked, hurt, I was always there. I have so much love to give for someone who has galaxies in their eyes, even though he can't seem to find a single star in mine. I know that I love you, like a lot. You'll think I don't, but I do. I think the more you love someone, the more you let them hurt you, and God, you've hurt me so much. I love the way you sing your favorite songs and how you know all the words. I love the passion you have and your perspective on the world. I love how you smile when you don't want to, and I love when you're happy. I love how you laugh along with your own jokes, and I love your confidence. And I love your personality and how I lost you and found you again. And I hate the hope I have with you, and I hate you so much for everything you've done to me, but I love you so much more. That's wild. I was like 14, 15 years old. And the funny thing is last year I sent that to him. Okay, don't worry. I have screenshots. So freaking funny. I'm not going to read out everything, but I messaged him and I said, want to read something crazy? And he goes, oh gosh, that scares me, but sure. And I was like, by the way, this was like 6 years ago in 2017, 2018. I was clearing out my folders and came across it. I feel nothing about this now. Haha, I think it's so funny. And yeah, his response was wild. It was just a lot of I'm sorry that made me really emotional. If I could change it, I would 100 times over. I'm going to take these regrets to the grave. You're genuinely a great person and never deserved how I treated you back then. I was so dumb and ignorant. Yeah, then we talked for ages afterwards, and he just kept saying how shocked he was and how he wished he could make it up to me. I've only recently been capable of even considering a proper relationship, and I wish it was the case back then. Yeah, I just kept saying it's fine. Like, it's chill. I just thought it was kind of funny, to be honest. Maybe not that funny, because it is pretty deep. But I said to him profusely, like, it's fine. I don't hold anything against you. Like, I'll always have love for you. And the main thing is just know that you're capable of being loved and being loved like fucking crazy, because I really, really cared about him. And I said, I actually feel very at peace with my 14-year-old self now. And then he went and got drunk in a park and FaceTimed me for like a couple of hours. And we just had a massive yarn. And he was saying like he always like had feelings for me, but he didn't know how to act on them and all that stuff. But yeah, I haven't seen him in ages. I don't really talk to him anymore. I always care about him. But it's just wild how it all kind of, I don't know if I'd say full circle. But yeah, that was probably not an insane love story. I don't know. But definitely a big one for me. I felt so many emotions when I was that young. And I really, really, I don't know if did I? Maybe. I have a really bad track record with men, as we know. That's why I'm staying single for like the rest of my life. Not the rest of my life, until I'm like 28, 29. That's why I keep telling people. But he was like my first like great person, because I've known him for like 8 years now. Wild. I haven't revisited this in ages. This is what always happens. I tell a big story and then I kind of need to like sit here for a second and like realize. Oh my goodness. Poor 14-year-old Willow. She was going through it like crazy, and then she got into a relationship with his best friend and was traumatized for 3 years. That's a whole other story, I guess. Thankfully, I'm very happily single, and I will be for a while. But it's just crazy if 14-year-old Willow knew that he'd say all these beautiful, beautiful things to me now, and say like he'd always like want to go back and do it differently, and he wished that he could have. But I never told him any of that shit, obviously. But wouldn't have mattered anyways, because he was very nice to me. At all. There's a lot. Oh no! I dare retrieve that. If you're listening, my number plate sign just fell behind the couch. That's okay, we'll retrieve it. There's a lot of things that I haven't said, and the annoying thing about this podcast is when I started it, I knew that I have so much lore, a ridiculous amount of lore, and then I realized I can't really put that on the internet, at least as of now, because, yeah, and it just sucks because I want to share everything, and I've said this before, I want to be so open and transparent and vulnerable and give you, like, the details, and have you fucking with your jaw on the goddamn ground, sitting back in your seat needing to pull over in the car, but Maybe one day, or hopefully one day, that's the goal at least, to really tell you guys everything. Because there's a lot of details to the story that are just fucking wild that I can't really share. So it's kind of hard to navigate that, like, with what I want to say, especially with the story time stuff. I kind of want to go more into, like, more abstract topics, I guess, not just story times. I love doing good story time every now and then, but I think it might be easier for me to kind of stay away from, not stay away, like, explicitly from those, but just not get myself in an awkward position where I want to share things, but I probably definitely shouldn't, if you know what I mean. I hope that all makes sense. I don't have any of my medication at the moment, so I hope that I wasn't too all over the place, and I hope it made sense, because every single time at the end of the episode I have a little bitty breakdown thinking that it wasn't that good, but then I get all these beautiful messages from you guys. You tell me how much you love it, and it makes me so happy. I can't believe it's like, oh, every other day, not every other day, I haven't done this in like a couple of weeks, but I go and I update my podcast views, and it's just like, I like almost shed a tear every single time I look at it. I know I say this like every other week, but it's just true. I think next week I might talk about my diabolical high school experience, and then the reason I care so much about how many people, even though the numbers don't matter, but just the fact that there's this amount of people that listen, like, will really shock you, because my high school experience was diabolical, to say the least. But yeah, I hope this made sense, and I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you. We're on episode 10. I'm so sorry that I've been like kind of MIA, but you have no idea how bad uni like fucked me up. It was crazy, like 12 hours a day, every single day for like a month straight. And now I'm finally done, and I'm finally free. Huh, feels amazing. I'm still recovering from it, obviously. But yeah, I love you guys so much. And thank you so much for joining me. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.